Move wherever you want. I will. I'll move this. It doesn't matter.
Install
Paracalo. So
I learned something the other day. He's the only one nobody else. That's correct, because it comes from Christ through him. Who's here? Who's here? And so there's nobody else who gets the blessings. It's like, oh, yeah, we're so happy. Like 8 million.
and not doing it.
Because you're already doing it.
That's right. I'm waiting for this little light to go. It's not recorded. It looks like it's recorded. And I will say, I'll say everyone in 5 minutes. Give you a chance to run that over. If you want to talk for 15 minutes after I start,
Hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your food. We're going to begin in a few minutes the program, so just keep eating. If you want more food or anything, get it before we start. But you have about 5-10 minutes or so before we start. People at home, 5-10 minutes.
How are you? I'm good. Tired. Busy.
I'm only supposed to, it's still, yeah, it's kind of hard. So I got
Yeah. It's okay. So it's just, yeah. It's interesting. It's good. You know, ideas sometimes, you know. Very good. Very nice. I know. What did you do? Yeah, you're right.
honestly, I was kind of my friends.
Okay. All right, I hope you're all enjoying your food. We're going to begin with our presentation this evening. Originally, Father Paul was scheduled to speak tonight, but as you all saw in the email that we sent out, he is attending the Greek Independence Day ceremonies at the White House. So as such, we had to adjust the liturgical schedule to be able to accommodate that wonderful honor not only bestowed upon him, but upon our Cathedral Parish family. And as such, we asked Mr. Scott Davenport to speak in his place because we didn't want to cancel the program. So he's going to speak to us this evening about ancient faith, surrounding yourself with the beautiful. For many of you who may or may not know Scott, he is one of our former parish council members. He is he has done a lot of things with our youth. When he was on the parish council, he worked with our EHCYD committee. He has taught in the past our juniors and seniors for Sunday school. He is currently teaching our 7th and 8th graders, and all around a good, knowledgeable, faithful Orthodox Christian. So I won't give you the accolades of his life beforehand. I mean, he worked for Def Jam Records for 20 years. Before that, he serves on our Annunciation Day School Board, and all around, like I said, a good faith Orthodox Christian. And if you need a resource for like cool trivia, if you want to play like trivia night against me or something like that, Scott is your person on your team if you want to take me down. If you don't want to take me down, Scott can be on my team, which is fine too. All right, so Mr. Scott, please enlighten us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. So, thank you for that kind introduction. So, one of the things that Father didn't mention is that over the last 5 years, I've had a real blessing to serve on the board for Ancient Faith Ministries. How many of you guys have heard of Ancient Faith Radio or Ancient Faith Publishing or Ancient Faith podcast? How many of you guys have the app downloaded on your phone or iPad or anything like that? Okay, so this is why I'm here. So, there's a wonderful story from the Saints of the Desert Fathers that says, if you walk into a perfume shop, even if you don't buy anything, you walk out smelling fragrant. And the same thing applies when we spend time with holy people. And I love that saying because it reminds all of us really, that everything that we spend time with, all of the media that we spend time with, the books that we read, the television that we watch, the movies, the radio, and all that stuff, everything that we spend time with affects us in some way. It's either lifting us up or pulling us down. It's either bringing us closer to God and to our fellow man, or it's not. And one of the things that I wanted to really talk to you all about tonight is the abundance of wonderful media that's available through Ancient Faith. Because it's one of those, it's an opportunity that if y'all had a great restaurant that you knew about, if I hadn't been to Kima and tried the octopodi or the galactomorico, I would want you to tell me about it. That's kind of why I'm here today, because I really want to tell y'all and share with you guys what's available to us so that we can fill our lives with something more beautiful than what comes out of our televisions every single day and what the next tragedy or something awful happens. So I think that really what I want to talk to you all about is what's available now, because here at Ancient Faith, it's just blossoming, and it's so much wonderful, beautiful stuff. So the first thing that we have are 3 different radio stations. We have one that is an English talk station. So all of our podcasts, a lot of our podcasts start as just talk stations. But we also have an English Byzantine music channel that's beautiful. We also have a world music Byzantine channel that is Greek Byzantine music, but also Russian and Antiochian, and even we have a Mandarin Chinese chanters that's absolutely beautiful. So again, even if you just downloaded the app just to listen to the talk radio or some of the music and to fill your world and fill your houses with the beautiful music that comes from our radio stations, here, it's something that's available to all of us. So 3 radio stations. We also have, with Ancient Faith, it really started as a publishing house. And here in the Cathedral, we have an incredible resource with our bookstore right there. The Clarissa and Matt Murray, who have done an amazing job with our bookstore, they're such voracious readers, and they read all of our books. And so I don't want to get into the weeds on everything that's available, but let me just share with you a couple of them that I love. There's one, I've printed out some flyers, by the way, for everybody that's interested, but one for the kids is called 101 Saints, and it's a picture book for kids, and it has a picture of the saint and a little map of where they're from and a little blurb about what their story is and why they're saints. It's one of these books that if I was a kid and I had this book, I would spend hours and hours and hours listening and reading this book. It's such a great resource. And if you don't have it for your kids or your grandkids, by all means, pick up 101 Saints. It is such a great book. There's another coloring book called A Beautiful Pascha that is available through Ancient Faith. It's great. And then a couple of my other favorites. There's a Presbyterian, Dr. Jeannie Constantinou, who's from San Diego. She's the smartest person in any room that she's ever been in. And she's written a book called Thinking Orthodox. And and it is about acquiring the Orthodox phronema, or the mindset, and where that comes from, and what it means to have the Orthodox phronema. And let's see, what else do I love? There's The Religion of the Apostles, written by Father Stephen DeYoung. He's an Antiochian priest in Lafayette, Louisiana, but he's written a book. I'll give just one little story from that book is that, like, for example, he talks about Paul's conversion on the road to Damascus. And he points out that Paul didn't convert because Paul didn't change religions. See, what Paul learned on the road to Damascus is that Christ is the culmination of everything that he had learned or believed before. So it's not like he changed religions. It was just that he figured out and he learned that Christ is the culmination of everything that he believed before. So he didn't convert in the way we think we changed religions. That's a great book. And there's another one by Father Evan Armitage called Toolkit for Spiritual Growth. And it talks about prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, which is a really accessible book for anybody. By the way, all of these books that I'm talking to you all about, except for the ones for kids, they're all available via audiobook. So if you're in a car as much as I am, you're just driving around, you don't have time to read or whatever, you just want to turn on something and listen to it, all of these books are available via audio, and it's a great way to again, fill your life with something that's more helpful than what we normally hear in our radios and all that stuff. We also have some wonderful podcasts that are available to everybody. And there's so many things. I mean, you can listen to a podcast on chanting, or you can listen to a podcast on fasting, or just living a daily life. There's daily reading podcasts. There's one by the Presbytera Gini Constantino again called Search the Scriptures. It's a Bible study podcast that I absolutely love. She's great. She's a superstar. And then Father Stephen DeYoung, who wrote Religion of the Apostles, has one called Whole Counsel of God. He's really funny and really accessible, but also really smart. And I would be remiss as far as the podcasts are concerned if I didn't mention Lord of Spirits. If there was ever a hit in Orthodoxy as far as podcasts are concerned, if y'all haven't been turned on to Lord of Spirits, it's 3 hours. Every episode's 3 hours long, and it is two nerdy, wonderful, pedantic, hilarious priests talking about incredible stuff. They're doing one right now. They're doing a series right now on the sacraments. But I mean, recently they did a whole series, 4 episodes, so 3 hours each, or 4 episodes of just where Christ is in the Old Testament. So when you reread about the story on the road to Emmaus, where we opened the Scriptures and broke the bread, and Christ revealed Himself in the Scriptures, they talk about all of that stuff and where He is in the Scriptures, and I found that to be incredibly informative, because that's one of those things that I've always just wondered about, really. But there's education, and there's music, and there's entertainment, and all that stuff is here. And really, the only reason why I wanted to, talk to y'all tonight was because if you don't know about it, I mean, I'm a convert, so converts have a tendency to find ancient faith, right? Because we got to make sure that I don't have to handle snakes or knock on doors or anything like that, which you don't, by the way. There's a couple of converts here. There's no snakes involved, eating chickens. There's none of that stuff. But, so the converts find ancient faith, but I found that, like, I have an aunt or my wife has an aunt that lives up in Knoxville, and again, it's one of those things that I would want her to know, like, here, listen, fill your life with something that's beautiful, fill your life with something that brings her closer to God and brings all of us closer to God. This is a great resource for us as Orthodox Christians, just to know that there's something out there that's fun and entertaining, but also sublime and helpful in our spiritual struggles. It's educational, but it's also entertainment, and it's also just listening to the Byzantine music that's absolutely beautiful. So I printed out some flyers for everybody, and basically you can go to www.ancientfaith.com. There's a store. Highly recommend also downloading the app on your phones or your iPads and just playing with that and listening to stuff. talk to your friends, talk to your sons and your daughters and your nephews and all that stuff, and ask them what they listen to. A lot of people are listening to these podcasts right now or reading books. Again, talk to Clarissa and Matt at the bookstore. They'll give you some recommendations on books as well. We have 120 books right now in ancient faith. Right, when I converted, there was what Costos wears, the Orthodox Church, and maybe, not much, right? Then the Kyriakos Markides books came out. But after that, I mean, like, there just wasn't a lot out there. The Way of the Pilgrim was the only other thing out there, I guess. But all of a sudden, there's just been this boom of wonderful English language books and podcasts and all that stuff. So it really is blowing up right now. And I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. So thank y'all for having me. Do you have any questions about any of this stuff? Any comments? Well, thank y'all for having me. If you have any questions, again, please come to me, take a flyer, and have a blessed Pascha.
Yes. Sorry? Yes. Oh, they're up there. Sorry.
Screen lift off.